A child wakes up, not because of light, not because of noise, because something is breathing outside the cave. Slow, wet, heavy. Beyond the thin veil of darkness at the cave mouth, something enormous shifts its weight against stone. And for several seconds, nobody inside moves. Not the mother holding her child against her chest. Not the hunters lying awake with sharpened sticks beside them. Not even the fire. It flickers once, then holds perfectly still, as if it too knows what silence costs. Most people carry a particular image of ancient humans, dominant, resourceful, walking upright through a wilderness they were gradually mastering, a species on its way to becoming something great. That image is not wrong, it is simply backwards. For most of human prehistory, we were not the apex predator surveying the landscape. We were the small, soft-skinned, slow-running mammal at the bottom of a very long food chain. We were prey. Not occasionally, not in the distant past before we learned better. Structurally, biologically, systematically. The fossil record tells this story in a language that requires no translation. Skulls of our early ancestors, Australopithecus, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, found with puncture marks from eagle talons, from leopard teeth, from crocodile jaws. We did not fear these things because we were irrational. We feared them because the earth was consuming us and our nervous systems had learned to pay attention. There is a structure inside your brain that has not changed in 40 million years. It does not think, it does not reason, it does not wait for evidence. It detects threat and it fires. Scientists call it the amygdala. Ancient humans would not have had a word for it, but they would have recognized the sensation instantly. The moment the world goes very still, the moment every sound sharpens, the moment your heart begins moving faster than your thoughts. That is not anxiety. That is 40 million years of survival intelligence activating at once. Researchers studying hunter-gatherer populations today, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San people of the Kalahari, consistently find something extraordinary. These communities process environmental sounds with the level of precision that modern humans have almost entirely lost. They hear a branch break at 200 meters and know from the sound alone whether it is a large ungulate, a smaller predator, or something that requires immediate evacuation. That is not instinct, that is training, passed from generation to generation in a world where mishearing something once was the last mistake you ever made. To understand what ancient humans were surviving, you have to understand what they were surviving against. Not in general terms, specifically. In the African Pleistocene, the environment where much of human brain architecture was forged, there were at least 11 large predator species actively hunting hominids, not scavenging remains, hunting. Dinofelis, a false saber-toothed cat the size of a modern leopard but built for primate prey specifically. Paleontologist Bob Brain spent decades at Swartkrans cave in South Africa analyzing the bones. His conclusion, Dinofelis did not merely coexist with us, it specialized in us. Above, the martial eagle, wingspan over 2 meters, capable of taking infant hominids directly from the ground. Crowned hawk eagles today still prey on small primates and have been documented attacking human children. In the water, Nile crocodiles that in the Pleistocene reached lengths of up to 8 meters. And from within the social group itself, other humans. Raiding parties, resource competition, territory. The threat did not come from one direction. It came from every direction, simultaneously, at every hour. The ancient humans who survived were not the bravest. They were the most comprehensively paranoid.
And yet they survived, not through physical superiority, not through armoring themselves against the fear, but by doing something far more sophisticated. They learned to live inside the terror without being consumed by it. The first technology was fire, not merely as warmth, not merely as a cooking surface. Fire was a psychological perimeter. Controlled studies of predator behavior around fire show consistent avoidance. Lions, leopards, hyenas, all of them maintain significant distance from active flames. Early hominids who controlled fire did not merely gain heat, they created the first boundary between themselves and everything that hunted them at night. The second technology was collective vigilance. Research by anthropologist Kim Sterelny at the Australian National University proposes what he calls distributed cognition, a form of shared awareness where the group collectively monitors the environment in ways no individual could sustain. Someone always awake, someone always watching the edge of the firelight. The anxiety that felt unbearable for one person became manageable when spread across 30. The third technology was narrative. This is the one that separates us from every other animal that ever faced predation. Other prey animals have alarm calls. They can signal immediate threat. What they cannot do is describe a predator that is not present. They cannot say, 3 nights ago at the third waterhole east, something took Mara's youngest. Go around. Human language allowed the map of danger to be shared, stored, and transmitted across time. The stories told around those fires were not entertainment, they were intelligence briefings, survival information encoded in narrative so it would not be forgotten. But there is a cost to living inside terror, a cost that does not disappear when the predators do. Evolutionary psychologists now estimate that it takes approximately 25,000 years, roughly 1,000 generations, for a significant behavioral trait to reduce meaningfully in a population under changing conditions. The last large predators capable of consistently taking adult humans were effectively removed from most human environments roughly 10,000 years ago. We are not 1,000 generations removed from that. We are perhaps 400. Which means the nervous system you are running right now was calibrated for a world that no longer exists. The hypervigilance is still there. The pattern detection is still there. The capacity to transform a shape in the dark into a predator, to hear sound and immediately begin modeling threat is still there. Researchers studying generalized anxiety disorder have found something that should stop us completely. The cognitive signatures of chronic anxiety, hyperarousal, threat scanning, difficulty disengaging from potential danger signals are functionally identical to the survival responses of humans in persistent predator-dense environments. We have not broken. We have simply kept running software designed for a world our bodies remember, but our eyes can no longer see. Here is what the evidence actually suggests. The fear you carry is not a disorder. It is a document, a record written in biology of everything your lineage survived. Every person alive today is the descendant of an unbroken chain of humans who did not die in the dark, who woke when something breathed outside the cave, who read the silence correctly, who passed that reading to their children and their children's children, all the way to you. The anxiety that keeps you awake at 3 in the morning is not a malfunction of modern life. It is 40,000 years of your family whispering the same thing into the dark. Pay attention, something is out there. And for most of human history, they were right. The question that should sit with you now is not why we are so afraid. The question is how they endured it, night after night, season after season, with nothing but each other and a fire and the stories they told to make the darkness feel survivable. They managed, and because they did, you are here, descended not from the fearless, but from the ones who were afraid and stayed anyway.